The Rock is a genius? Or is he the biggest egomaniac in wrestling history? Let's get into it. Alright, so we all know what happened with Cody, The Rock, and Roman Reigns on SmackDown last week, where basically Cody wins the Rumble. They've been building him to be the guy, right? The guy. And then they pull the rug from out from underneath him and say, oh, I'm just going to give The Rock my spot. What? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So the outrage from the community, from the wrestling community, is a little warranted. But if you stop and think about it, this could be a genius move by The Rock and WWE, or it could be a happy accident. We don't know yet. Well, we'll have to wait and see how this goes. But if this was all planned out, and this is what they were designing this to do, they could be on the cusp of making a global star, not just a wrestling star. Like, if Cody went to beat Roman Reigns, us in the wrestling bubble would be like, cool, he won, awesome, cool, great. I mean, that's what I want, right? Because I'm a wrestling fan. But what about people outside of wrestling that don't know nothing about wrestling? They don't even know who Cody Rhodes is. This is what this could do for Cody and the company in general. So what am I getting at here? So with this whole scenario, with this movement on social media, which I think happened by accident, but with this whole movement with social media, hashtag we want Cody, they have an opportunity here to make Cody Rhodes a Hulk Hogan, a Stone Cold, a Rock, if you will, if they play their cards right. They got businesses. There was an ad, and I'll show it right here. There was an ad for a soccer jersey that said, finish your story. Hashtag we want Cody. It had nothing to do with wrestling or Cody at all, but it had a picture of Cody wearing a referee shirt. Just this company selling their shirts. Just free marketing because they're trying to get the rub from the We Want Cody hashtag that's trending. Like, what? And then there are the bad aspects of this where Ava Raine, The Rock's daughter, is getting death threats. Don't death threat people over this. It's wrestling. I know you're acting like a child when you do that kind of stuff. That, to me, that's crossing a line. That's stupid. But I think we're all being worked. We have to be. Do you think they would make a guy, their guy, protect him for 2 years, put him on the cover of the video game, basically he's your poster boy of the whole company, just to pull the rug out from underneath him, bury him, and toss him aside? I don't think so. I don't think they would do that. Now, I think it's hilarious that all these companies say, oh, this was planned, this was it. We don't know jack. The only people that know what's really going on, the real plan, are the people in the board of directors room, so probably The Rock, Triple H. I bet you Cody Rhodes doesn't even know. And that's a good thing, because then we get real, raw emotion from him, because he's an emotional guy. Or he could be acting. He does have acting experience. We don't know. But keeping him in the dark will show his true colors if Cody gets pissed in the back or something. No, I don't think he's like that. I think he's a super chill guy, so we'll see what happens with that. But what am I getting at here? What do you mean global star? Do you see what's happening? There's this bubble of wrestlers, wrestling fans, if you will. Like me, I'm a wrestling fan. The Off the Top's wrestling fans. We all know what's going on. We all know who we want. We think this should happen with this. It makes sense, right? But then, what does every WrestleMania do every single year? They bring in people from outside the bubble to try to grow the fandom of wrestling. And I think that's what they're trying to do here. So by making The Rock steal a spot, you're getting eyes from all the Rock's fans on it that don't watch wrestling anymore to come back. His Hollywood following, his social media following. Everybody knows who The Rock is now. Like, everybody. If you don't know who The Rock is, you've been living under a rock. No pun intended. But yeah, he's had so many successful movies. He's had some duds too. He's did the XFL thing. I mean, He was part of basically all of media back in the 90s when wrestling was probably its biggest back in the 80s and 90s. They were in cartoons, your cereal boxes, your Nerf commercials, everything back then. They were part of everything. And I think that's what they're trying to do here. But they're trying to make Cody that guy. And how do you do that? You basically make him a martyr, right? You make him a martyr. You pull the rug out from him, you get everybody to rally behind him, like they did with Daniel Bryan, and you got a star. You have a megastar. You have a global entertainment star. You could put him in anything, and everybody would watch it because they're like, oh yeah, that's Cody Rhodes. That's Cody Rhodes. Oh, I know who that is. They have an opportunity here to make him that person and bring more eyes on the company. I don't think they've been in a position like this for a very long time, probably since Stone Cold The Rock. John Cena is a huge star, but I think everybody knows who John Cena is too, but I want to say John Cena was the last guy to do that, to be a global sensation. So maybe this is the path, right? Or The Rock is such an egomaniac, he thinks that whatever they're doing right now doesn't matter. He's the biggest draw. Put him in the match. Screw everybody else. I don't think he'd be like that, but I don't know the guy, so we don't know. And this match has had to happen, right? And I got bad news for you. No matter what they book, no matter what happens, Cody is not facing Roman at Mania. As much as I want that, it's not going to happen. But the more I think about it, and the more I process this whole thing in my brain, I kind of don't want it to happen now. I know you're like, what, crazy? What? So there's a way to book this. There's two ways to book this, and they're both, you're not going to like either one of them, but I feel like it sets up Cody and the business in general going forward. If you want Cody to be the poster child and bring in fans from everything, because you can put that guy in any media thing, media scrum, talk show, anything, and he's just got it. He's got the gift of gab. He's super smart. He knows how to protect the company and protect himself. Cody is your guy to do that. All right, so there's two ways to book this. Way number one. So if they're going to set up Roman versus The Rock, there has to be an extra stipulation. They're not going to, Roman's not just going to be like, oh yeah, I'll face you, whatever, I can kick your butt. No. The Roman is a heel. He's going to try to get out of it, right? He always tries to get out of it. He tried to get out of the Fatal 4-Way. He's a heel. That's what heels do. So, and The Rock's being positioned as the babyface here. So there's going to be an added stipulation. What's the stipulation? Well, the obvious one is if The Rock loses, he has to retire from wrestling. It makes sense. He's old. He's board of directors. Let's face it, he's probably never going to wrestle again after this match. So that's stipulation. Now, if The Rock wins, Roman is obviously no longer the champion, but he's also kicked out of the bloodline. So that would make The Rock the new leader of the bloodline and the WWE Universal Undisputed mouthful. The champion, the championship that matters. So how would you book? Here's how it would work if each person won. So if the Roman won, this is how it would be. And if The Rock wins, this is how it either way, both how they should be, in my opinion. Number one, Roman beats The Rock. Cool. So Roman beats The Rock. The Rock has to retire. But Roman's like, well, you're family, right? You're blood. So I got a special place for you. You're going to be my second wise man, right? And then Paul Heyman's like, whoa, wait, what? Because Paul Heyman has been his wise man and been by his side since the beginning of this gimmick, the whole bloodline gimmick. So now you add in something fresh to the bloodline. You have The Rock and Paul Heyman, where Paul Heyman's like, oh, he's going to replace me? What's going on? And they can belittle Paul Heyman the entire time while The Rock is there, right? So The Rock he's not very happy he's there, but he's family at the end of the day, right? You beat him. All right, you beat me. I'll do what you want. I accept you. I acknowledge you as the tribal chief, if you will. And that's how it plays out for the next year until eventually The Rock has enough and he recruits Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman, of all people, to team up and take down Roman Reigns once and for all, thus making Roman Reigns an even bigger heel to conquer, and Cody finally getting that payoff of beating Roman, a rematch that we all been waiting for, and getting the championship, basically setting up the next 10 years of wrestling, because now they've made Cody a global star. He beat the bad guy. This also helps Roman too, because it's like, wait, that's The Rock's cousin? We're all forgetting about Roman. You forget about Roman in this entire equation. It's all about The Rock and Cody right now. If I was Roman, I'd be a little annoyed. Anyway, so that's scenario A. Now scenario B, where The Rock, I don't want to put this out in the world, but The Rock beats Roman and becomes the new WWE Universal Champion, ending that 4-year title reign, giving it to a legend, giving it to a part-timer. But they could use that. So The Rock is one of the best actors in the world, right? And I feel like his acting career is kind of winding down, because now he's being part of all these corporations. He's on the board of directors of WWE. So what does he do now? He said in an old interview, I forget what show it was, where one of the reasons why he didn't do the match at, was it WrestleMania 39, was because there wasn't a way to set up the next generation. That's the BS he told us anyway. He wanted to set up the next generation. He wanted to do something that's never been done before. Well, this is how he could do it. If he wins that championship, he could position himself to be the ultimate bad guy that we've ever seen in the last 10 years. Because The Rock's a great heel. He pulls off the douchebag very, very well. So The Rock could position himself as head of the bloodline, right? We think, oh good, The Rock's there, he's gonna make it better. No. He can make Cody's life a living hell for the next 8 months to the build up to WrestleMania. He could cost him the next Rumble, because I don't think they're gonna have Cody win next year's Rumble. 3 years in a row, that's boring. You gotta make Cody suffer for the rest of the year, having Shinsuke Nakamura go after him. They can't use Brock anymore because of that whole situation. Gunther, the Bloodline. They'll bring in more Bloodline people. There's so many things they could do. He could recruit the Judgment Day to make Cody's life a living heck. They could do all these things to really make The Rock the most hated heel since the old days, where people were like had death threats and stuff. Like, they hated Iron Sheik. They hated him because he wasn't the American guy, right? It was the American versus, the Iron Sheik. So they have an opportunity here to make The Rock the super ultimate bad guy that Cody has to conquer. And since all this media stuff is happening, everybody will know what's going on, and everybody will want to watch and see who can dethrone the evil Rock that took the brass ring from Cody Rhodes a year ago. I think that would be an awesome payoff in the end. I know it'll take a while to get there, and people don't want to hear that. But if The Rock wins the belt and then just drops it a week later to Cody, it means nothing. If The Rock is going to win this championship, they have to turn him into a megaton heel. So the way they could get to that point, another thing here, I'm going to add it to the video, is halfway through all that hell, because Roman got kicked out of the bloodline, right? So now you have an opportunity to make Roman a babyface and team up with Cody, getting Roman over again, because I feel like Roman has gone stale with the audience. He needs to be a reinvention, and I think turning him into a babyface might do that. They could hash it out. He could be like, all that power, all that stuff went to my head, made me a person I'm not. He could team up with Cody and they take down The Rock, right? But what do? Do you have a triple threat at the next Mania? No. So halfway through, because Roman doesn't need the belt ever again after this. If Roman loses the belt, I don't think he should ever have it again. He's had it way too long. He doesn't need it ever again. He's done. So halfway through, Roman could get taken out by the bloodline right before WrestleMania, whatever, and then Cody eventually somehow wins a rematch or wins a title match with The Rock. Or that could be the whole rematch with The Rock, or the match with The Rock, could be a hidden stipulation that we don't know about, where I made a deal with you. I gave you last year's WrestleMania. You owe me. You owe me a title match because I gave up mine so that you could face your cousin. Genius way to do it. Have that in the back half. It's like, you owe me this one. And The Rock's like, he thinks he's untouchable, so he's like, oh, okay, yeah. Then we're square. And when you're done, and you'll never get another title shot. But he's like, done? So now Cody wins. He becomes a new champion. You have set up your babyface globally for the next 10 years, probably, because he's not going to be around that much longer. He's almost 40. And you bring in all these new fans to wrestling. The next generation of wrestling fan. By that time, in 10 years, I'll probably be not a wrestling fan. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. The world will probably end by then. But anyway, these are just some ideas I had, things that crossed my mind. WWE has an opportunity here to, like I said, this whole video, make a global impact, a global star with Cody. They positioned him that way. And with this whole thing going on right now, I hope they don't just... I hope they're not stubborn and they just like, nope, Rock, nope, we want the money now. Because they'll shoot themselves in the foot. Wrestling fans will get complacent again, and Cody's character will forever be destroyed. This is just one man's thoughts. Sound off in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Stay frosty.